Nacada board. So we have gone through all the requisite steps to make sure that the strategic plan is an official document. Chief guest, I think I'll go right away and give a very short overview of what the strategic plan entails. We know the importance of coming up with these strategic plans. We don't need to belabor, because the strategic plan is supposed to help us execute our mandate over the 5 years, and our mandate is derived from the Act and also derived from what is expected of us by government as well as by the people of Kenya. We are also using the strategic plan to allocate resources and also to make sure that we deliver to the goals which we have already alluded to. We have used several documents to come up with this strategic plan. Among them is the Kenya Vision 2030, which informs our vision, development vision. We have also the MTEP 4, which is the current medium-term plan, which we are using now. And we have incorporated the bottom-up economic transformation agenda, the BETA, which is the government strategy of delivering development to the Kenyan people. So as we were developing this plan, we also looked through what is happening in the global, in the regional, in the national, arena, so that we could get the challenges. So that as we plan, we see these are the challenges which we are likely to face. And as we looked through the challenges, then we could be able to come up with our appropriate plans. We have the challenges as given there. We have global challenges, and we've noted that over time, we have had increased use of drugs, generally globally, and this has had a very negative impact, especially among the youth. The supply chains have also become complex. Chief guest, if I'm sure you are aware that Kenya used to be just a conduit. The drug barons used to use Kenya as a way to get their drugs to other places. But research has shown that actually now we are a destination. We are a user nation. And our people are now continuously using the drugs, and that has become a big problem. We have also noted that even the older people over the age of 40, 50, even 60s, in our research which we did last year, we realized that they are actually increasingly using drugs. I think they are graduating, and this is a challenge because, of course, as people become older, they face all the challenges and such, and you can imagine if that is mixed with drugs, and what will happen to our health system, the burden, and all that. We have also realized that cocaine, which used to be a drug of the rich, well, rich in quotes, is also becoming quite popular, even with the youth and those people who ordinarily may not have money. They used to use heroin and mix it up. Now cocaine is coming out, quite strongly, and it is quite a very harmful drug, and this is something which we have also noted. The regional challenges include poor data. Collection of data is a bit expensive, and the data which we have and which ordinarily we would use for programming, chief guest, is not readily available. So we have also noted as we do our plan that this is an area we need to check. We have increased use of cannabis among the youth. The students in the universities, age group 18 to 24, and our research showed that there's a big, increase, a spike actually, a double spike from 2% to 4%, and this is very dangerous. And I think maybe the myths which usually go around, I don't know, maybe even the politicians, talking about all this, some of them would have really increased this use of cannabis, and it is a very, very serious thing because there is a false a perception that countries are allowing, or they are allowing the use of this. But when we look through data and policies, it's really for medicinal use. It's not, mostly it's just for medicinal use, not just to smoke it along the streets or wherever. We have also seen a lot of other drugs, amphetamines, which are now getting to the countries without any justification. These are drugs which are supposed to be prescribed by, some of them are supposed to be prescribed by even doctors. They are not. The medical fraternity, there is a leakage in such drugs which are supposed to be prescribed. And we have also noted that the chief guest, quite a good number of countries in the region do not have any meaningful strategies as far as this issue of alcohol, drug use, drug control is concerned. Actually, Kenya is a pioneer. In Africa, Kenya is looked upon as a country which is giving which is the model. And Madam Chief Guest, you are aware, when you were in Nigeria, you saw even the Nigerians themselves wanted to come and study what is happening here in Kenya, and even the UNODC and the international community realizes that Kenya has done quite a lot in this area, courtesy of our government and the direction and the leadership of our board. Madam Chief Guest, we also have local challenges, and as we did our study, we realized that the overall prevalence reduced. The overall prevalence is where we get at least somebody using one drug, at least one drug. If it's smoking cigarettes, if it's alcohol, if it's marijuana, and this reduced from 18.2 to 17.5%. I think because of the public education and because of the other programs which we have initiated, people are realizing the danger of using these drugs. The board, the Nacada board, has given a very tough, they've said that we must now go to 15%. I mean, we must reduce it to 5%, to 12.5%. 5% of the Kenyans who are using should stop using any kind of drug in the 5 years. And I think it's something management led by the CEO we are up to, and that will be a drastic, decrease in the usage of drugs. Chief Guest, the average age of initiation is given for tobacco, for alcohol, for miraa, cannabis, the prescription drugs, cocaine, heroin, is between 16 and 20. This is the average initiation. But we also have the minimum initiation age, where you find that at age 6, you may find a kid puffing, getting a puff, smoking, not really addicted to smoking, but getting a puff because the father, and I assume even the mother, would send the kid to get her or him a cigarette from the bedroom or from wherever, and they will see the mother or the father smoking, and therefore they will try it. So that is the minimum age of initiation. They start, oh, this is something. The same with the alcohol at 7 years, where they would take a sip. You go to the bar with the kids, to the restaurants, to wherever, and as the father is sipping, the young kid is also trying to sip. Those are the kind of things we are saying. And these are given, and even for the Mira, which is 9 years, for the prescription drugs is 8 years, and this is because even in primary school and all that, these kids are being given these drugs to either make them sleep or because the father is using them to help him sleep. They also take them and things like that. For heroin, it's a bit higher at 18 because it's also expensive, and also cocaine at 20 years. So this is the minimum age of initiation, and we are saying that if we can stem this in our strategic plan, we can come up with programs to stem this and make sure that this initiation, ages and so on are way beyond, let's say, in the 20s and so on. It can help this fight against alcohol drug abuse. We have also noted in our strategic plan that alcohol is the most abused substance, and we have given this in our research. We have noted increased demand for cheaper and readily available products, alcoholic products, including the changa and the traditional brews, I think, and even the portable spirits. And I think, Chief Guest, this is the area where government has taken very serious steps. The Office of the Deputy President and our CS, our parent ministry, the NGAOs, are in the forefront of making sure that these products are eliminated. As we were developing this plan, we also took note of a number of regional and international frameworks. The Kenya Vision 2030, I've mentioned this, the fourth medium-term plan, which runs from 2023 to 2027. Actually, the Treasury gave us guidelines that our strategic plan must run as per the medium-term plan. That's why we now did the 2027 to 2027, so that once that's completed, we now start another cycle. Then, of course, we have the bottom-up economic transformation agenda, the national spatial plan. We also talk to the counties. We have a number of conventions, both regional and also international. The African Agenda 2063, East African Community Agenda. We also have the UN conventions which came into force in 1961, 71, and 88. And also we have the alcohol and drug abuse. The mission is to lead a coordinated multi-sectoral campaign against alcohol and drug abuse in Kenya. Coordinate a multi-sectoral campaign because we can't do it alone. We are doing it with the stakeholders, including government institutions, the civil society, even partners and everybody, because this is a fight which must be done by everybody. We are just a focal point where we do the coordination. Then we have the core values, which is compassion, because we are dealing with people in addiction. We are dealing with vulnerable people, vulnerable groups. So as we come up with our values, we want to see how do we handle these people who are in distress, with compassion, with also integrity, professionalism, courage, because this job needs courage. And Chair, and the CEO, as you go through, if you're not courageous enough, you'll just not be able to do that. And then, of course, we do it with creativity and innovation. And we have a Clara & Co., which is to be a sober and healthy nation. We have the quality policy statement. We are saying that we are committed to implementing the programs as set and as agreed, both the programs and interventions, both in demand and supply reduction. I think what has been happening is that we've been really doing a lot of the campaigns, which is there, which is good, the demand. We also want to stem the supply, because we may be tempted to do a lot of talking in terms of educating people, but the drug barons will still be bringing this stuff here. They may not listen to our message. So we need also to look at the supply reduction, so that we look at the laws, the legal legislations and all that, so that we make sure that we make it difficult for these drugs to get into our country. We also would want to comply with the ISO standards, and also regularly measure, analyze, and evaluate the effectiveness and efficiency of what we are doing. And I think this is something which the board is very particular about. Chair, you remember yesterday when we met to look at our PC, the board was very clear. You must tell us what your programs are achieving, what is the impact. You just don't undertake programs, activities, and yet you have not demonstrated what they are achieving. So you tell us, and I think management took note of that. Chief Guest, the plan has got some key resort areas and goals, which are divided into pillars and enablers. The three main pillars are the public education and advocacy, where we go out there, educate the public, and we also advocate. We educate the public and advocate. We advocate and we educate the public about the dangers of drug use. We are also supposed to undertake research, standards, and licensing. And of course, the research is supposed to inform programming. We get data, and this is the data which is supposed to be used to do the programs. Chair and the Chief Guest, we are a regulator. And as a regulator, we are supposed to set the standards so that the other people, the other actors, can actually follow such standards. If you have a REAB, then what are the standards set? So that those are the standards we are supposed to operate on. We also do licensing for the importers and exporters as a regulator. Then we have the third pillar, which is compliance and enforcement, to make sure that the standards which are set, the issues to do with the licensing, the issues to do with the laws, regulations, guidelines, and everything which governs this sphere, this area is complied with. The players comply with, and therefore we have the compliance and enforcement. These pillars are supported by the enablers. We have the legal enabler. We have partnerships and collaborations and stakeholder coordination, which is very critical because, as we said, we cannot do it alone. The civil society, other government institutions, international institutions are our partners. And as we even look through the strategic plan and what we are supposed to achieve, quite a lot in terms of financing, in terms of even work in kind and others, is supposed to be undertaken by the partners and all that. We just get a small portion of resources. And with the kind of work which is required here, we would really want to use massive resources, and that can only be done when our partners are with us and when they are chipping in. Then we have another enabler, which is the corporate communication and also institutional strengthening. And all that lies under a foundation, which is the leadership and integrity, so that the leadership will now guide all what is happening, and is guided by Mwongozo and other government guidelines, then that will enable us to achieve the goals which we have set in under this strategic plan. Chief guest, we have the strategic goals, which will be found in this strategic plan, and these goals are also from our act, the Nacada Act, which gives us our mandate. So the strategic goals is actually from our mandate, and it includes the demand reduction. They also include providing evidence to inform standards, to enhance controls on production, sale, and consumption of alcoholic drinks, to coordinate planning, to enhance stakeholder engagements, and also collaborate so that we can have proper programs, to also enhance corporate image and also reputation, including the authorities' brand visibility. We also would want to attain high institutional capacity and support for services, people who require our services, and then incorporate best governance principles. The strategic objectives, we have already given that one. Then we have the strategic house, which is just a summary of what we have now talked about: the vision, the mission, the three pillars, the three main pillars, supported by the enablers there, and then the foundation, and all that driven by our core values. And you can see our strategy, which informs, which summarizes, chief guest, all what we have said and all what we are doing. We have the budget, which shows the resource gaps. Chief guest, we expect to get a total of 5.9 billion shillings. Over the last few years, with the leadership of the chair, we've been able really to increase our budget quite, a lot, from 600 million to nearly 1 billion. This financial year, we got a little bit more, 1.6, was even at the private sector to chip in. And of course, we expect enhanced government support as well, so that we can bridge that gap. With the 12.2 billion, chief guest, I think we can do far much more than what we are doing currently. And chief guest and chair, I think that is the end of this short presentation. The Mike Porter said that strategy is about setting yourself apart from the competition. I don't think we have a lot of competition because everybody is supporting us. So it's a matter of being different at what you do. And I think this is one thing the chair has always been telling us. Be innovative. Don't think about what you've been happening the last years. Think about what you can do better. And I think this is what has motivated us, and we allude to that. And because we are planning, we have our goals, and since we have our goals and we have a plan, then ours is not a wish. Ours is something which we are going to achieve, and we're sure we are going to do that. Thank you very much, and we will appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor. Ladies and gentlemen, can we appreciate Professor? Thank you. There is our strategic direction, and of course the engines that are supposed to take. Sorry, I did not introduce myself. My name is Patrick Obura. I'm the director in charge of corporate. For purposes of this engagement, I'm the MC. The last bullet in my JD. I hope our manager HR is not listening. And I need feedback at the end of this. Our chief guest joined us. We have the representatives from the state actors, the leadership from KRA, represented here, NCRC, the government chemists, National Police Service, KEBS, the National Treasury, Teacher Service Commission, Kenya Library Services, NTSA, and many others that we will recognize as they come in. We also have the non-state actors, the CBOs represented here, FCBOs, ILA, APRAC, CARA, and SUPCHEM. Thank you very much for your support. Before we move to the next part of the presentation, chief guest, ladies and gentlemen, we still want to make a passionate appeal to all of us present here to follow us in our various social media platforms. Whether we are talking about Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. We really appreciate for your humble duty, chief guest, ladies and gentlemen, to welcome our CEO to make progress in the next part of this presentation. Karibu Bwana CEO. Can we welcome the CEO, ladies and gentlemen? Asante sana.
Thank you very much, Patrick. I've actually scored you a 9.2 in any other role. Our chief guest, represented by Madam Opora, Board Chair, Dr. Stephen Mairori, Board Vice Chair, the Nacada Board present here, representatives from government who are here, representatives from agencies present here, our development partners and stakeholders who are present, my esteemed colleagues from Nacada, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. My name is Anthony Omerikwa, and I'm the team leader for the management side of this great Nacada family. On behalf of the Nacada management, I take great pleasure in inviting you and welcoming you to this launch of our strategic plan that covers a period between 2023 and 2027. This is a very important milestone for us as a family in Nacada, and the strategic plan, foremost, is a policy document that gives a blueprint on the path we intend to straddle. It sets the guardrails within which we'll operate and pronounces our aspirations in an operational way. This strategic plan will organize all our efforts that are geared towards addressing emerging issues within the space of alcohol and drug abuse. This plan has been carefully developed by taking cognizance of Nacada's operational environment, and it is premised on our mantra of having a nation that is free from alcohol and drug abuse. Ladies and gentlemen, this plan is also a very critical communication tool to both the internal and external public, and it contains fairly adequate information that you can use to judge and hold us accountable in our very great mission of ensuring a drug and alcohol-free country. This strategic plan has been aligned to the country's development agenda, which is principally espoused in our Constitution, in Vision 2030, in our MTP, the fourth MTP, in the government bottom-up economic transformation agenda, the UN 2030 agenda, and the African Union 2063 agenda. I'll just highlight the salient features of our plan, and key to it are three. First of all, the demand reduction. Secondly, supply reduction. Thirdly, setting standards within which we can operate as a country in the alcohol and drug abuse space. Chief guest, this strategic plan has been developed and validated in consultation with all key stakeholders and everyone who matters within this space. And in this context, everyone who matters in this space is everyone within our borders as a country. Ladies and gentlemen, you'll agree with me that effective implementation of a plan of this nature requires adequate resources. While the resources allocated to Nacada, which we are very thankful, is not little, it is hardly adequate for us to fully implement our mandate and to create the change that we deserve, that the country deserves. In our projection, when we juxtapose our estimates to what we get, we are operating at 50% gap. Essentially, what I'm saying is this: we have clarity of our end goals through through our mission. We know how to get there through this strategic plan, but we are still pleading and imploring upon the government to give us more money as a means to achieve what we intend to achieve. Not only are we appealing to the government through the exchequer, we are also calling upon our partners to appreciate this great role that we play in the country and to support us by all means, in cash, in kind, and in every way possible. Ladies and gentlemen, we appreciate as the Nacada that on our own we can't achieve this strategic mission that we intend to pursue through our strategic plan. And therefore, we recognize the role of our partners, stakeholders, who play a very critical role in our service realization. Who play a key and important role in our service realization. I'm talking about the ministry, the department and agencies, the county government, non-governmental organization, the faith-based organization, the general public, and most importantly, I want to give a special recognition to the PS Interior for his unrelenting support and guidance in this journey. Finally, ladies and gentlemen, on my behalf and on behalf of Nacada, I'd like to commit to the public and to everyone present here that we intend to wholeheartedly realize every aspiration of the strategic plan, tick all boxes of the objective, and ensure that our mantra lives, that is, a country free of alcohol and drug abuse. Asanteni sana. It is now my humble privilege to invite my chairman, who's also my mentor, to speak to us today about the strategic plan launch.
Thank you very much, CEO. I hope you can all feel we have a re-energized Nacada, isn't it? Going forward. Thank you very much. I'd like to invite my colleagues, the board members, to join me. I think this place will be enough for all of us. Please, if you can come up front, all the board members. I think our guest will remain today. Yes, for the other board members, karibuni. So I'd like you, these are the men and women the government has asked to lead the organization from the board level. And so I'd like you to hear from them directly, their name and their role in Nacada. So I'll begin from the other end. If you can have the mic. Yes.
Good morning. Assalamu alaikum. God is good and all the time. My name is Ali Swale. I'm board member at Nacada, independent board.
Praise God. I'm Reverend Frederick Goge, board member Nacada. At MC, you have forgotten one of the major partners is APEC, and it is represented in the person of Reverend Frederick, the national chief.
Good morning, everyone. Yeah, my name is Dr. Josephine Etenyi. I'm the alternate to the PS, State Department for Youth Affairs and Creative Economy. We work for the youth who are most affected by the drugs and alcohol abuse. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Florence Amoiti, alternate to the PS, State Department for Basic Education. We are in charge of the children that are affected by this alcohol, looking at the ages that were being said here, 6 years and so forth. All those belong to our sector. Thank you for coming.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Dr. Mercy Karanja. I represent the Kenya Medical Practitioners and Dentists Council, and we're here to ensure that even those who are affected by alcohol and drug use get compassionate care, because they also deserve a second chance. Asante.
Thank you. Good morning. I'm Dr. Fantas Mare from Ministry of Health. I'm alternate to PS, Public Health and Professional Standards. And I'm very sure you are aware of what we do in health. We promote healthy lifestyle. We also take part in prevention of drug and substance abuse, and also actively participate in rehabilitation and management of those who are affected by use of drugs and alcohol. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. My name is Veronica Okoth. I represent the PS National Treasury. Nacada is an organization of government. We finance it. We believe in it. We are there to ensure that it is well financed so that all of us can fight this scourge. Thank you very much.
My name is Anjeri Matho. I am the Vice Chair of the Board of Directors, and I represent people who are suffering from substance abuse, those in active addiction, and those who are in recovery. Asanteni sana.
Thank you. Let's appreciate our board members again. God bless you indeed. So if you have questions, please interact with the board members. They are here to serve you. We have other board members who are absent because of duty and they are not with us. The representative for the Muslim community is out in Arch, and then we have the director anti-narcotics is joining us later. Our chief guest, person representing our chief guest, is also a board member with us. So, our chief guest, represented by Secretary National Administration, Madam Opora, our Chief Executive Officer, Dr. Omerikwa, all representatives of government ministries, departments and agencies, development partners and stakeholders, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. It gives me great pleasure to welcome you today to this important occasion as we launch and disseminate the Nacada Strategy Plan for 2023-2027. I first want to begin by thanking His Excellency the President for his commitment in the fight against drugs and alcohol abuse. He's personally pronounced himself on this matter and also directed his deputy to work with the Ministry of Interior and us in dealing with this problem. The message from the presidency is very simple. We have to deal with this problem. As the government agency responsible for coordinating the country's multi-sectoral efforts aimed at preventing and mitigating the efforts the effects of alcohol and drug abuse, Nacada has been executing its mandate by undertaking a number of activities that include public education and advocacy campaigns, treatment, rehabilitation and reintegration, and compliance and enforcement of alcohol and drug control laws, regulations, and standards. Ladies and gentlemen, this strategic plan was developed in consultation and participatory approach in line with the authority's core values, using guidelines from State Department for Economic Planning. It is therefore a culmination of extensive consultation, collaboration, and incorporation of feedback from both internal and external stakeholders. This approach refocused the authority's focus from demand reduction to supply suppression. The plan has identified and prioritized programs, projects, and activities that are in tandem with the authority's mandate and are essential in contributing to the implementation of the fourth medium-term plan of the Kenya Vision 2030. The government bottom-up economic transformation agenda and the regional and international frameworks. It therefore serves as a result-based management tool for good corporate governance, institutional efficiency, and effective delivery of services. With a vision, a nation free from alcohol and drug abuse, this strategic plan has identified 3 pillars to guide the authority in contributing to the realization of its goals. The pillars are public education and advocacy, research, standards and licensing, and compliance and enforcement. This will be supplemented by 4 enablers: legal and planning frameworks, partnership, collaboration, and stakeholder coordination, corporate communication, and institutional strengthening. All these will be anchored on leadership and integrity as a foundation. For other purposes, and yet this is a ring-fence fund. We want the counties to empower the CBOs. We want the counties to work with all the stakeholders within their counties, so that as a county, there is a plan to fight this menace. All of us who are here, particularly in the civil society, I want to call on us to hold our counties accountable as well, to help us in that. We are doing as an agency, and we are meeting the county leaderships to encourage them that let's work together, and that would be great. The second group that we work with very closely, and I'm very grateful, is the security agencies and the Ngao, and they are doing their part. I want to challenge our security agencies, particularly as we do enforcement. You will see that in our strategic plan, this is a major part, because if we don't cut the supply, we'll keep dealing, treating people, and yet the supply is great. So our strategy is to work and deal with the supply, and the security agencies have a major role in this part. I want to ask our security agencies. We have many security agents, people who are very good and are doing a great job, but we have a few who may be compromised here and there, and that has led us probably to where we are. And I want to ask that as we move forward, particularly now with the new financial year, that we all put our efforts together, we cut the supply, so that as we move forward, then we treat those people who are affected, and will be able to win this war. I want to thank all of you, particularly our partners, the civil society, who have done great work, given their own resources to assist in rehabilitating people or creating awareness. We are very grateful as an organization for the efforts you put in. As I conclude, I would like to acknowledge the support that Nacada has received from all the stakeholders, and that is actually shown by your presence today. Finally, our chief guest, I want to thank you personally, and please convey to the PS Raymond Omolo for his support, for his encouragement as we worked as a board. Also to our CS, the Cabinet Secretary, he's really assisted us as we fight this war. This war can be won, and it will take all of us Kenyans putting our efforts together. The idea of blaming this or that would not help that much. At this moment, we need everybody's efforts, and Nacada has a listening ear. We have a board that is very active. We have a management that is very responsive. So please engage us, and let's all together fight, and we'll win this war. It's now my pleasure to invite our chief guest, represented by the Secretary National Administration, Madam Opora. Let's put our hands together as we welcome our chief guest. Karibuni sana. We can all stand. Karibu, karibu, karibu.
Kindly let's be seated. Dr. Stephen Mairori, who is the chair of Nacada and the entire board of directors. Chief Executive Officer, Dr. Anthony Omerikwa, and your entire Nacada fraternity. Esteemed guests that have been drawn from stakeholders, from partners, government agencies, civil society, friends, and other esteemed guests. Good morning. I thought we've had breakfast. Good morning. Good morning. Before I give any remark, I would like to recognize an important team that is chaired by Dr. Raymond Omolo, PS, and that is the National Alcohol Control Committee. If you're a member, kindly be upstanding. We have, yes, from the ministries, departments and agencies, KRA if you're here, Government Chemist if you're here, Ministry of Education if you're here. A round of applause for this very important team. As we've been told, my name is Beverly Opora. I'm the Secretary National Administration and also the alternate member of the Nacada board on behalf of the Principal Secretary. And today I'm here to represent Dr. Raymond Omolo, the Principal Secretary for Internal Security and National Administration as chief guest. Before I give his remarks, I also bring warm regards and greetings from him and from the Cabinet Secretary. I hope you acknowledge that. Our Principal Secretary would have loved to be here in person. In fact, he was to be here in person, but then he has been given an urgent assignment. So he therefore requested me to represent him. Therefore, without much ado, I would like to take this opportunity to now do the responsibility that I have been bestowed upon this morning, and that is to deliver the keynote address on behalf of our Principal Secretary during the launch of the Nacada Strategic Plan 2023-2027 today, Wednesday, the 19th date of June at the Sarova Stanley in Nairobi. Riding on the protocols observed earlier on, I am indeed happy to preside over the launch of the Nacada Strategic Plan, which is an important national policy document that informs our country's collective effort to combat alcohol and drug abuse for the next 5 years. As we are all aware, alcohol and drug abuse has posed a significant threat to the safety of the people and security of Kenya in form of deaths from adulterated alcohol, reduction in productivity, health complications, as well as fueling organized crime networks and violence within our communities. Of course, we have also observed that drunk driving has been a major cause of fatalities and serious injuries on our road. As you are all aware, this ministry deems these vices as a key threat to our national security. The vices have affected all sectors within the development agenda, and more significantly, it has affected the very critical population of our country, and that is the youth. Therefore, in addition to that, on 6th of March, the Ministry of Interior and National Administration, through our Cabinet Secretary, elevated the fight against alcohol, drug, and substance abuse by declaring it a national security threat, and therefore marked a significant intensification of the ministry's efforts against these vices. Therefore, for this reason, also the government has taken a decisive action to ensure the safety and compliance of alcohol production in Kenya by issuing the 25 directives to enforce compliance and quality standards in alcohol in the manufacturing sector. Smuggling, counterfeits, unregistered brands, substitution refills, tax leakage, and illicit artisanal alcohol forms the biggest economic challenge, warranting all licenses and certification permits for second-generation and alcohol distillers and manufacturers to be suspended pending a comprehensive vetting of all alcohol manufacturers. I am pleased to observe that the Nacada 2023-2027 strategic plan contains concrete and deliberate measures aimed at not only enhancing the level of success achieved in the fight against alcohol and drug abuse, but in addition to that, indicates how the momentum is sustained. And I want us to give a round of applause to Professor Muteti, who has very well articulated that plan. And we want to commend Nacada. We want to commend, he did it on behalf of Nacada. We equally want to commend Nacada for prioritizing strategies to address alcohol and drug abuse. And for us, this is an impetus in the ministry's focus to ensure that we eradicate these vices that are impeding the attainment of the government's agenda. Ladies and gentlemen, during the strategic plan and in 2024 alone, Nacada has managed to conduct, we have managed in collaboration with Nacada to conduct 61,769 raids that saw the seizure of 342.88 liters of chang'aa and 2,553 and 108,000, sorry, I'll take that again, 2,553,108 liters of kangara were confiscated. We also seized 70,743 liters of counterfeit alcohol and were able to close 15,533 alcohol outlets and 381 shisha points. In addition to that, we have confiscated 6,047 kilograms of bang and a total of 29,896 arrests being made as a result of that crackdown. This has not been possible from our own efforts and those of Nacada, but because of the multi-agency support that we have received. However, it is important to note that the regions that have been affected by these vices are Rift Valley, Nyanza, Western, Central, and Nairobi. Ladies and gentlemen, as has been indicated earlier by Nacada, alcohol is now the most socially abused drug substance within our country. Drug abuse in the country has also been identified to mostly affect the youth and our learning institution. And based on the data that we have received from Nacada earlier on, the average age of initiation of alcohol use in Kenya is 16 years. Close to 40% of alcohol users are youths are youths, with 1 in every 7 Kenyans aged between 25 and 35 years, totaling to 1,137,288 currently abusing alcohol, with over half being addicted, and that half amounts to 596,336,000. The risk of depressive disorder among users of alcohol is 2.3 times higher compared to non-users, and the national prevalence statistics on the alcohol and drug use situation in the country shows that almost 4 million Kenyans are in need of rehabilitation support. There is no gainsaying, therefore, that the strategic plan that we are launching today is more critical than ever, as it is the surest way of addressing the vice of alcohol and drug abuse within our nation. It is the single most important planning tool for enforcing laws related to alcohol consumption and the distribution, and also serves as a focal point for shared vision among Nacada, the National Police Service, National Government Administration, who are also key actors in eradicating illicit alcohol within our communities, combating counterfeit alcohol, and addressing other alcohol-related crimes. I am happy to note that the strategic plan is similarly anchored on Kenya's Vision 2030, the MTP4, and most importantly, the bottom-up transformation agenda that has been developed in line with the guidelines as issued by the National Treasury and Economic Planning. Not only does the plan aim to rid the country of alcohol and drug vices, but it also creates a conducive environment for government programs and projects to be able to thrive. It is also gratifying to note that the strategic plan period has identified concrete areas where efforts will be directed as an institution in collaboration with other stakeholders. And at this juncture, I just want to re-emphasize the call that has been put across by the chairperson and the CEO Nacada to be able to come on board as stakeholders to support in the same. These include key result areas such as sensitization of 10,021,630 parents on positive parenting, also developing guidelines targeting learning institutions, and partnering with county governments and other stakeholders on matters rehabilitation and support for victims of alcohol and substance abuse, as well as outreaches aimed at protecting citizens from illicit substances and drugs. On behalf of Nacada and on behalf of the State Department, we envisage that at least each county should be able to have a rehabilitation center. And we want to commend the counties that have already partnered with Nacada, like Nyeri and Elgeyo Marakwet, to have rehabilitation centers in place. Perhaps at this juncture, I wish to point out, and this Professor Muteti said, that a plan without implementation remains just but a wish. We therefore point out that let this not be just like any other good strategic plan that has been developed, but let it be a plan that shall be implemented as envisaged. I therefore call upon Nacada and all stakeholders who are here today to take the implementation of the strategic plan very seriously and accord it the attention and the support that it deserves. Ladies and gentlemen, to implement the plan, Nacada seeks a funding plan, and this funding plan is to the tune of 12.123 billion. Therefore, to implement the plan against the projected resource envelope of 5.997 billion in a 5-year period calls for innovation, calls for collaboration, and building partnerships that will yield resources for this mission. And again, the CEO here called for support, both in material, both in kind, and the chairperson being a reverend, I whispered to him and I said, even prayers. For those that are already partnering with Nacada, for those that admire to partner with Nacada, I'll call upon you to maintain that support, to initiate that support, because the good work that has been done by Nacada really deserves. And if I were in any other sector, I would love to be associated with Nacada and partner with them. I once again congratulate Nacada on this successful completion and thus the launch of this strategic plan. But I am confident that Nacada, under the leadership of the chair and his board of directors and the CEO, that it will not only strive to achieve the ambitious targets in it, but it will also get the resources necessary for this execution. And I think we have really put out a strong call. The strategic plan must be our testimony of a modern way of doing business that is systematic and data-driven. And I know that we are all aware the digital space, particularly in matters alcohol and other vices, we know that the digital space is actually one corridor that poses a challenge. I don't know whether it was highlighted in the presentation, but this is one space that we really need to address. As I draw towards the conclusion, I want to assure Nacada and its partners the continued support and timely response to them in undertaking their mandate and to ensure the implementation of the strategic plan. And this also goes to other partners of Nacada in whatever support that they wish to accord Nacada. As we look forward in the 5 years to share, as we look forward in the implementation of the plan in the next 5 years, we also look forward to the beautiful, wonderful results and achievements that will be shared after the strategic plan is implemented, and we look forward to be proud of the results that will be achieved therein. Therefore, for and on behalf of the Principal Secretary, State Department of Internal Security and National Administration, I, Beverly Opora, the Secretary National Administration, now has the pleasure and single honor to officially launch the Nacada Strategic Plan of the year 2023 to 2027. Thank you so much. God bless Nacada and God bless the beautiful
walikuwa ni wahalifu, wanavuta bangi, wanakula unga, wanakaba watu. Tunashukuru kutoka ndani uletu hapa, umetusaidia sana sana tu vizuri. Naomba uendelee sababu umeonyesha vijana wetu si vile walikuwa.
Converted from a former National Youth Service camp, the center is a multi-agency initiative that incorporates other relevant government agencies to ensure its smooth running.
We have brought on board literally all the critical agencies of government like Kenya Bureau of Standards, Public Health, and of course Counterfeit Authority, and many other agencies, the police, the Attorney General's office. All these are brought on board to ensure that we are able to execute our mandate.
Right now to operate two programs, an outpatient program and an inpatient program. So the outpatient program ilianza February 2020, ambapo sasa hapa tuko na vijana ambao wanakuja hapa kwa facility in the morning, wanapata medication. Kwa hivyo wanakuja hapa, tuko na ile tunaita medical assisted therapy program ama MAT program. Hapo sasa wanapata hiyo dawa ya methadone, alafu pia tunapatia psychosocial support na pia feeding program tuko nao hapa. Now that is the outpatient program. Tumeanza an inpatient program ambao sasa hii tunavyoongea tuko na hiyo ni wanaume ambao tumeanzisha, tuko nao hapa, tunawatibu, tuko nao hapa Miritini kwa inpatient program ambao wanakaa hapa kwa program for a minimum of 3 months. Kwa hivyo hao bado wanapata matibabu, wanakuja hapa na matatizo yao, tunawafanya detox, tunawapatia all other medication, tunawapatia psychosocial support and all the forms of program rehabilitation tunawapatia hapa. Kwa hivyo tuko na program mbili ya outpatient na inpatient.
At the Miritini Treatment and Rehabilitation Center, patients are welcomed at the waiting area.
When the clients come from out, before we put him or her on the program, we start by screening, which is done by our able counselors, just to make sure that the client has agreed on the program and is really in need of assistance. After that, the client will go through some screening tools, then do some lab just to be sure that he was on heroin. Because with methadone, which we are using as part of treatment, is only used on heroin dependents.
Among other services we offer is clinical services. Some clients come when they are sick. They are seen by a clinical officer. They are medicated. We also do a few laboratory tests, such as testing of hepatitis, especially hepatitis C, HIV, and also drug screening. We do things like brief interventions. We also do crisis management. We do counseling, and we also provide or offer aftercare services.
Recreational therapy is also provided, including indoor games like pool, and clients also relax and share experiences while watching television. This group therapy helps engage them and prevents the onset of depression.
The activities keep them active. We say an idle mind is the devil's workshop. So when they are engaged, at least their mind is active. They run up and down, they're tired, they come take bath. There's no need to take medication. They go back to sleep.
The center also trains recovering clients on income-generating activities and provides land for some to grow vegetables and earn income for themselves.
Sasa nilipoanza kunywa methadone nikaona pia kunywa methadone na kwenda nyumbani itakuwa jasaidia kitu chochote. Nikabidi sasa nje shughuli yote nifanye, kwa sababu kaambiwa kwa kukaa hivi bila kufanya chochote naweza kufanya nikarudi maeneo tena. Ndio nikaomba mkubwa hapa Karisa, nikamuelezea nataka kuchukua program nianze kufanya shamba. Akaniambia ni wazo zuri sana, akanisupport, akaniletea mbegu, akaniletea kila kitu. Kama kitaki chochote nimwambie atanisaidia upande huo.
Nacada is in the process of improving and constructing more structures at the facility so as to make it a center of excellence in treatment and rehabilitation of persons with substance use disorders.
Included in the master plan are about 5 key structures that are supposed to be developed. We were informed by our technical teams the relevant structures that are supposed to be put in the master plan that speaks to the holistic cycle of treatment, rehabilitation and reintegration. So in the master plan we have the clinic, which is supposed to be a 4-story building to cater for both the outpatient at the lower at the ground floor and the inpatient at the other floors. We're also supposed to have the training center to take care of psychosocial support of our clients. Is also for this particular facility. It is expected to have a capacity of 100. The workshops are supposed to address a critical aspect of treatment and rehabilitation because it addresses the skill sets development so that our clients, when they leave the center, they'll be able to have a skill to enable them earn a living outside this particular center.
Some of the structures to be put up at the center include a multi-purpose hall which will have a kitchen, dining hall, social hall and offices. Other buildings in the architectural master plan are an administration block, clinic, 2 modern hostels for male and female clients, staff quarters and a training center. The Miritini Treatment and Rehabilitation Center is working towards having an inpatient facility that will house male clients and female clients at a go.
We are already setting up one of the female hostels to admit female clients. We are looking at providing quality services at Miritini. We'll provide medication for these clients, we provide good nutrition because nutrition is very key.
To acquire some skill that they will depend on as they leave the facility.
Nacada also collaborates with the county government of Mombasa by providing testing kits from the county's Kisaoni facility. In addition, Nacada works closely with the community, partnering with local community-based organizations, CBOs, and civil society organizations, CSOs, working towards reducing, preventing, and managing substance dependence.
Drug and substance abuse is a community challenge, and we are not very well placed within community. And for that reason, to be able to reach out to our clients within the community, we have deliberately gone out of our way to try and identify critical stakeholders within the community who are like our frontline teams within the community. Why we do that is to be able to get their support in identifying the problematic issues within the community that are related to drugs and substance abuse, and to help us actually in the screening, the initial processing of these clients before they can be brought onto Miritini.
One such organization is a Muslim Education and Welfare Association, MEWA, which provides both treatment and rehabilitation services to clients.
MEWA ni shirika ambalo linafanya kazi na watu wanaotumia mihadharati. Tunajulikana kama MEWA Health and Harm Reduction Service, ambao tunafanya kazi Mombasa, Kilifi na Lamu counties.
Athari za utumiaji wa madawa ya kulevya zikawa zinaonekana dhahiri hapa Mombasa na kila mahali. Familia ziliweza kuathirika kwa ukubwa. So MEWA wakawa na kitengo chao kikita cha MEWA Health ambacho kinaweza kusaidia wale watu ambao wanatumia madawa ya kulevya.
MEWA has been serving the Mombasa area since 2001 and has among its staff outreach workers, paralegal officers and field officers that visit drug dens and counsel substance users.
Maisha yetu yanazidi kufanya nini? Zote. Hata saa hizi tukimake decision saa hizi ya kwenda kutumia saa hii, bado the same consequences zita happen. Kwa pamoja. So we need to change that.
tunasensitize drug users kuhusiana na masuala rate zao, document violence cases and all other cases related to them, kufanya case follow-ups. We do prison visits, sensitization of duty bearers like wakubwa law enforcers, watu ambao kuna authority like the magistrates, prison wardens and watu katika community ambao wako the influential, ambao wanasaidiana katika kuensure mlengwa ambaye ni drug users anapata haki zake na huduma za kiafya na huduma za kimatibabu kama vile raia mwingine yoyote.
MEWA has a female facility for treating and weaning female substance users, as well as a safe house for those without a home.
Hii tunaita female shelter house, female rescue center, adherence center. Ni mahali ambapo kina mama ambao wameathirika ni miadharati, wamedhoofika kwa miadharati, wamedhoofika kwa maradhi ya virusi vya ukimwi, ya maradhi ya TB, ama wanatumia methadone, wachukua tukawaweka hapa na tukawapatia huduma stahili. Wanakaa hapa muda ambao wao wanataka, na baadaye baadhi yao huwafundisha kazi za mikono na kurudi katika maeneo na majumba yao.
Nacada also partners with the Reach Out Trust, a civil society organization that identifies and rehabilitates substance users, trains them in income-generating activities, traces those who may relapse, and brings them back to the treatment plan.
Our work is in the prevention and intervention services for people who use drugs, and we established it in 2003 with the purpose of rehabilitation first, to be able to give a full array of services in terms of drug dependency treatment, to be able to reach out and being able to admit people within the rehabilitation. Our rehabilitation is a holistic approach to be able to give an alternative way to come back to the community and be a better person. So we started by being trained by Nacada on the issues of drug and substance abuse, addiction, certification development, and also recovering coaches to be able to have calibers of people who can be able to train and also give right information in terms of rehabilitation.
The Reach Out Trust also provides legal services to substance users on a pro bono basis.
Moja katika activity kama community paralegal tunazifanya ni kuweza kuhamasisha ndugu zetu walioathirika na madawa ya kulevya, vile vile ni kuweza kuwapatia uwezo na access to their right, to kuwapatia ufahamu wa kuweza kupata access to their justice system, na vile vile pia kupata ufahamu upande wa access to their right to health services.
Community outreaches are also being undertaken to sensitize the public on the dangers of substance abuse and offering the available programs to users who may want to drop the vice.
All of our programs, both for public education and the ones for treatment and rehabilitation, we have a psychoeducation component that actually intermarries the two, where we are able to help you understand that when you start substance use, when you get to a particular level, you now have a mental illness, and therefore you need to be able to be treated. The other thing we highlight clearly is addiction management employs a multidisciplinary team approach involving a psychiatrist who is able to manage this particular mental illness. We have the social workers who will do the follow-up. You have the psychologists and the counselors to be able to deal with the psychosocial issues that might be predisposing or precipitating this particular issue. So during our psychoeducation classes or our sessions, we are able to highlight that the two are together. When you use particular substances, they will mimic a mental illness or they will aggravate a mental illness. Therefore, assessment is critical.
These forays into the community include visits to drug dens where field officers engage active substance users.
Wengi wanatumia uraibu lakini hawajui madhara yake. Sasa nikifika kule nawahamasisha kuhusu na jinsi ya kutumia. Na kama hata pia utatumia, basi kama kuna mraibu wa sindano, una sindano safi wa tunawapelekea, ambapo akitumia sindano ile iko na maji yake, iko na filter yake, iko na kibude chake. Sasa huwa tunawapelekea sindano, condom na chakula, hygiene pack. Pia saa nyingine tuna nguo pia tunawapelekea tunaenda na washauri pale, tunaongea nao, kama mimi nikiongea nao tunarifaa.
As a result of these interventions in Mombasa, some former substance users are leading fully productive lives.
Niweza kuacha madarati, niweza kupata mtoto. Sasa niko na familia yangu, niko na mtoto wangu. Naweza kumiliki mimi mwenyewe kwa uwezo wa ile kipato ninachopata katika hili shirika la Reach Out, na kuweza kumsaidia mtoto wangu, na niko na nyumba nimepangisha hapa katikati ya town, na naweza kujimudu mwenyewe.
Pia at least kuna some activity tunafanya. Kuna shambani, kuna mats hizi tunatengeza, kuna mapilo tunatengeza. Hata mtu akiwa mgonjwa at least anapata matibabu vizuri.
Nikajifundisha hapa kulima, nikafanikiwa pia kulima, nikaona nisaidia pia nikipata mavuno nauza kwa rehabu. Sasa napata kitu kidogo hapo, naenda naweka, nikiuza kama dania 50, nikiuza tuta mboga 50 huko, nikiuza watermelon kwa 100 naenda naweka. Baadaye nikifika ngone napata kitu zuri, naweza nanunua kama ni suare, nikanunua nguo. Kaanza badilika. Niko kwa sisi hata kununua nguo kwa life yangu kwa unmanageable kabisa, sasa kujimanage.
Venturing beyond existing substance users, Nacada and partnering stakeholders also engage in preventive initiatives.
We identified 116 vulnerable women nationwide, whom together with a partner based in America, we raised money to support their NHIF cover for 1 full year, that is 12 months. And as one of the criteria we were looking into is women who are vulnerable because their husbands or their children are in active addiction. They have abandoned their families, young children who have gotten into addiction and could benefit from this women's NHIF cover. And that is why we are in partnership with NHIF, which has considered addiction treatment and rehabilitation as one of their key service area to support people who are needy.
They are trying to nip the root causes of the drug problem that is endemic to the coast region by collaborating with schools to teach the young generation on the dangers of substance abuse.
In schools, we have something like the Life Skills program. The Life Skills program is basically designed for young primary school students, pupils, so that they are able to identify the drug of abuse and try to say no to drug use.
Kwale tualia, mihandarati shule imezidi, imekita, na tusipobadilisha masomo kwale itaathirika vibaya. Ningeomba na naomba wazazi tushikane mkono. Tumeambiwa tuzikate tamaa.
Asanteni tena wamama, walimu, washauri kwa kuchukua muda wenu kuja kuongea na sisi na kutuambia changamoto ambazo mnazipitia hapa kwa vijiji, Msambweni, Matuga na hata kwa mashule.
Outside the schools, of course, we have what we call the workplace. Workplace, by the way, is one of our biggest concern. And we have witnessed very serious seriously high preferences of abuse in our workplaces. And of course, the effects on absenteeism, illnesses, low productivity, which obviously affects those institutions where they work.
An unproductive employee is not going to be of benefit to your organization. And likewise, that translates also to the employee and their family. Because now if he is going to be laid off because of addiction, it has this effect on the wider society. So I think greater attention actually should be paid by employers.
We have introduced an indicator on alcohol and drug abuse in institutions.